great, solid, and steadfast habits, if a person gets used to them, they can achieve success.
Welcome, viewers, and greetings to you in one of the episodes from the Time and Life Management series, which is one of the important and inspiring lessons in life. Today, I am happy to be here with Dr. Ibrahim Al-Qaeed, who is a professor and doctor at King Saud University, specializing in English language, in addition to having authored a large number of works, totaling 22 books. Let me welcome Dr. Ibrahim Al-Qaeed. Welcome, Doctor, and you have truly brightened my day. I am happy to be with you in these moments to talk about your publications.
Thank you and welcome, Brother Khalil. It is a blessed hour, my dear brother.
The pleasure is all mine, Doctor. First of all, you have, mashallah, authored 22 books specializing in self-development and self-management. Let me ask, what is this field and what is this science?
Very nice indeed. I mean, this science is one of the new sciences in the world, and it is the intersection of management concepts in life with psychology, sociology, religious concepts, ethical concepts, and philosophy. All of these have come together to produce a set of ideas, principles, opinions, and approaches that aim to develop a person's abilities, skills, and habits so that they become effective, successful, and distinguished individuals who move through life in a good and refined manner.
How old are these 22 books now?
Well, these 22 books were written over a very long period of time. I mean, I even wrote 2 books while I was a student in America. I came back from America with 2 books, and I published them after I started my job at King Saud University as an English professor. But this process took almost 30 years of my life.
So, since you recall your beginnings as a university student, Doctor, who inspired you? Who gave you, let's say, the roadmap for writing and authorship?
In terms of concepts, I was inspired by 2 people. The first person is Sheikh Abdul Rahman bin Saadi. May God have mercy on him. He was a scholar from Qasim, from Unaiza, and he wrote a small book called Useful Means to a Happy Life.
Beautiful.
I got hold of it when I was a student at King Saud University, either in my 2nd or 3rd year. The second person is Stephen Covey, a very famous expert and manager in the United States of America. He has a famous book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These 2 books had an impact on me. I found that each one represents a civilization, values and orientations, and if they come together in a certain way, they can truly unleash a person's potential.
Before I get into the topic of the most prominent books and their details, where do you find the space for writing? How do you approach your writing process? The longest book I've written, the longest period of time, and the shortest?
Honestly, writing has become a part of my life. When I was a university student, I used to write, and I considered writing a hobby of mine. When I went to the United States as a graduate student, writing became a very big part of my life. I didn't even leave America, as I told you, until I had authored 2 books. Also, in one of the courses I took with a well-known professor, the goal of the class was that essentially each and every one of us would not finish the semester without having authored a book.
Wonderful.
It's actually something from a long time ago.
They say every writer is a poet, and we could say that about someone with great love. Dr. Ibrahim as a writer and author. And since you started on the path of writing, did you also have any connection to poetry or to writing prose and other forms?
Of course, especially poetry. I remember when I was studying at Indiana University and took my first semester, my professor, Dr. Harry, asked me to come to his office and said, you are a writer, you write, you are a poet, and so on. I said, no, honestly, I am a writer and I am a poet. He said, but your style is beautiful. If you focus with me, I can help you become a good writer.
So he sensed that. Maybe through your writing and Dr. Harry's reading, your most prominent books in self-management stood out. What are they?
Honestly, I have a large collection of books, but the most prominent is the 10 Habits of a Successful Personality, the pinnacle of personal and professional excellence, and take wisdom from the mouths of the experienced. And useful lessons in happiness and success, and your personal guide to happiness and success, etc. These are some of my books. These are the 5 most prominent ones.
I know you treat your books as if they are your children, but which of these books is closest to Dr. Ibrahim?
Honestly, the closest one is the 10 Habits of a Successful Personality, and the book The Peak of Excellence, because it is the culmination. I mean, it's the summary of my writing experience up to now, and I have a new child I'm raising at the moment. God willing, I plan to work on a book about happiness in the coming period, God willing.
So, Doctor, most of the well-known books, we can say, are of Western origin. Does this apply to your books as well? And what is the difference between them and, let's say, the available books?
Honestly, this might be one of the most important questions in my life, because what is the difference between my books and Western books? Western books have flooded the world and the markets, repeating the same concepts and the same approaches. But my books are ones that have benefited from my Western education, my studies in the West, my knowledge of the English language, and my teaching of English, combined with my Arab Islamic culture and my modest religious background. So I combined all of these together and developed my own unique approach, which is modern management books that blend Western concepts with Islamic concepts, producing knowledge, values, and ideas that bring about success and happiness for others.
Doctor, you mentioned that, can we say, I asked you about how you consider most of your books like your own children. And you mentioned that the book, The 10 Habits, is actually one of the most famous and prominent books. And I was honored to have acquired this book and read some very important parts of it. And I am still reading it. What are the main ideas of this book?
Well, this book, May You Live Long, is not just a book, but also a training course that I have taught to thousands, God willing, of men, women, students, and young people. Praise be to God and thanks to God. The 10 Habits course up to now can be found everywhere in the world. You can find it in Brazil, you can find it in Bosnia and Herzegovina, you can find it in Indonesia, you can find it in all languages, especially most of the languages spoken by Muslims. So this book focuses on great, solid, and steadfast habits. If a person gets used to them, they can achieve success. These habits are drawn from religion, from sociology, from psychology, and from other sciences, blended together in a certain way to produce concepts that people can benefit from.
Doctor, first of all, you are a professor at King Saud University. You obtained your master's and doctorate degrees in field English language, which is a wonderful specialty, both old and modern, and we still use it. To what extent would you say does this specialty would you say it gave you, Doctor, an added value in authoring these books?
A truly very great value. Sometimes I actually lecture in English more often than I do in Arabic.
Haven't you ever been asked how someone specialized in English is also an author in administrative development?
That's where it comes in. School is coming. The school I want to establish, which would be an independent school, a school that is not a Western school. I don't just take Western concepts, bring them here, and present them to others, or simply transfer from others. No, I benefit from Western values, Western writings, and Western books. I take them and subject them to the great Islamic concepts and values, and then I extract from them things that are truly excellent. So when one of my colleagues, God bless him, one of the company managers who's close to me said, my brother, I read your book, The 10 Habits, and I read Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits. And I say to you honestly, and I hope this doesn't come across as me praising myself in an inappropriate way, but he said, I found that the 10 habits is easier to understand and more relevant to the Muslim individual whose culture is Arab, Islamic, and Saudi. In other words, it's closer to him. Your writing is something he can relate to. As for Stephen Covey, even though there are some wonderful things in his book, the values he talks about and even the habits he discusses feel distant. For example, Stephen Covey has 7 habits. I have 10 habits. I only took 3 habits from Stephen Covey and added 7 other habits that he did not include. Excellent, these habits can't be considered Western habits because they have roots in our culture and in our Islamic faith.
On what basis did you choose 10 habits? Why not 12 habits? Why not 6?
Good. When I reviewed the topic of habits, I found that there are so many habits. Stephen Covey has 10. I know someone who has 20 habits, another has 30, some have fewer, some have more. I gathered all the habits, then I studied them thoroughly. Then I selected the most important things. Then I sought guidance from the prophetic hadiths and the Quran. The 40 Nawawi hadiths is one of the best books. Honestly, it offers excellent choices of hadiths. I also try to look for the best habits in both the West and the East, then organize and present them in a very excellent context. So in the end, after sorting through many habits, I ended up with 10 habits. The first habit is the habit of striving for excellence. And by excellence, I mean excelling in your relationship with Allah, the Almighty, excelling in your work, your craft, and your area of expertise, and excelling in the human relationships you have with others. This is the pursuit of excellence. Then the second habit is the habit of setting goals, that you have clear, specific goals in life, which you lay out in an annual plan. You always keep them in front of you and work towards these goals. The third habit is the habit of planning. You take this plan and set it within a timeline, yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, and so on, so that these habits lead you to realms of excellence, achievement, and constructive work. Then comes the fourth habit, which is the habit of setting priorities. You come first.
The important and the urgent.
First, you strive for excellence, then you set your goals, then I planned, and now you sort your goals and set them as priorities. There are so many methods, and I have explained them in my book, The 10 Habits. Then comes the fifth habit, the habit of focus, which is a very important and great habit, and you cannot succeed without it. And so it goes with the other habits.
Can we talk about the impact of your books on your family first, and then on those who have acquired these books?
As for my family, the impact has been tremendous. There is no one in my family or anyone close to me or a colleague, friend, or even any of the young employees who work with me or in my office. All of them are exposed to these great concepts and get to know them every day. And personally, my entire life is an embodiment of these habits. For example, whenever I am about to attend a certain meeting, I recall the habit that is suitable for that meeting. If I am going on a trip, I use the habits that I am supposed to practice during that trip.
You recalled the habit in this interview.
Of course, that is usually the habit of focus and striving for excellence in presenting a beautiful topic that we can all benefit from.
We thank you, Doctor, and we are delighted to have this wonderful opportunity to meet you in this introductory, we could say, exciting and enlightening segment with Dr. Ibrahim Al-Qaeed. This is part of a series, and we will definitely continue our series with Dr. Ibrahim Al-Qaeed in our upcoming meetings, God willing. God willing, we will see you again in good health.